Hello everyone and welcome to Gierok Farms. In today's video we're going to be working around the farmyard here. The primary goal of today is to get the big silage pile opened up and start mixing our silages together here and transition into the big silage pile. As you can see here in the yard, we don't have a lot left of the small pile. Before we switch over fully to the big pile, we wanted to mix those two piles of silage together. But before we move on to that project, we got to finish cleaning up here in the calf barn and the maternity pen. Dad is coming back with the tractor and the spreader right now. He just spread off a heaping full load. I'm thinking he's gonna want to put some more manure on. We'll see here once he gets back, and then we gotta bed everything up in here. So thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoy the video. Gotta put some more fuel on. I feel like every time I get in something lately, it's always low on fuel. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. And now I think our main barrel's empty. It's just never ending. If any of you have that problem, let me know down in the comments. I'm sure some of you can relate. All right, we're gonna move on to the silage pile now, getting that big one opened up. So we gotta get the 7810 started and get it hooked up to the dump trailer. So a bit of a cold start for you guys. It's only like 40 degrees today, 35, so nothing too crazy for you. Don't worry, it's coming. Winter's approaching. We got her all hooked up. Still got the Magnum tucked away in the shed here. Haven't given it a name yet, but you guys have been pretty helpful down in the comments. I'm still brewing on that one. Anyways, let's hop in the 7810 and get down to the big pile. right, so we took the first couple bites out of the big pile here. It's not the worst I think Dad's ever seen, but
well, I think what this is our new seeding, and we didn't put the inoculant on because we didn't have that applicator on that old chopper. I think that's a lot, but what happens at the front of this, I think a lot of times when we finish the pile, we kind of push things back up a little bit because it ends up being a mess. You get a little bit of dirt in there.
And this year with that corn silage, it was getting so hard to get up there where this was a lot of new corn silage here trying to make this ramp here.
It looks pretty good though, I mean, for the most part. You can see where we left off from one day to the next. I guess there's a little discolor there. So what you got here, we got our first crop, which looks really good. And smells good. It wasn't made when we wanted, but, and of course your corn silage, and it all looks pretty good there. See a little bit of that blue mold again here, so we're gonna see. I'm kind of surprised it's down in here like that, but it could be just that because of the approach. And then this is our off from where we took oats off, almost like a third crop, and then we put corn on top again, a few loads. What it looks like we got going on here, but I think over here there was a hole. You can see right here. There's raccoon. We got 3 tarps on here, on this part of it anyway. Did 2 times in first crop, and we reused that one. We didn't want to, because that one wasn't big enough, so that's on top here too. But that might have had a few pinholes in it too from just moving it. But it just seems like that's almost impossible to
avoid.
We're probably 300 to 400 feet from our building, so our dog isn't necessarily camped out near this, like up there. Up there we got the cats and who knows what could disturb it, and down here you got the wildlife.
I think when it comes to future projects, if we keep doing the amount of feed we're doing, this pile should get extended or something like that.
More concrete here or something, but I don't think it's never going to be perfect. It don't matter, because that's all, the tarp's still the tarp, and you'd have to put that green on, and that would happen in the middle of December. If we had snow, then that's going to get ruined trying to take that off. You don't want to spend the money on that and only be able to use it 1 or 2 years.
Hopefully the temperature stays the way it was here last week, because today and tomorrow are kind of the warmer days, and then I think it's supposed to get cold again. If it stays at that 20 degrees, it should be nice.
Right, and it's froze on top about 4 to 5 inches already, which is the way you want it. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, the mid 90s there, we've had it so cold that the sheets were almost a foot froze. So you would be setting those alongside like huge slabs, and then you'd drive on them with the skid steer and break them up, then load them up. But then you don't get spoilage. Yeah, see, you can even see right here, there's a little bit of dirt. It's not much, but it's just enough. And that adds bacterias and stuff that ain't normal for the feed. The real judge is going to be when we get in about 20 feet. What we see then is pretty much what we're going to get. And then, like you said, the type of winter we're going to get. If it's just going to stay generally colder. Last year was warmer, and when those molds start, they just keep growing. We can't feed it fast enough. I mean, there's no way we'd feed this fast enough. This is going to go from now until the cows graze, or until we start first crop hay, which will be the end of May, I imagine, or so.
Yeah, and when it comes to feeding stuff fast enough, some of you guys that aren't familiar with silage piles or big dairies, it doesn't really matter if we'd even have a lot more cattle, because if you had more cattle, then we would just built a bigger pile with a bigger face. And,
it ends up that way. It's never going to be perfect.
Exponentially, you'd probably be doing the same thing.
It's never perfect. The silos get very expensive, the bags too. And I know what they're going to be. There's going to be comments about putting bags up. And I've said it before, and I realize that not everybody understands. This camera does not show the steepness of the hill, which is great for drainage. So when it gets a little slick out, I mean, you're sliding a little bit, you know, where there's a little bit of dirt, but once we get onto the pad more, it's going to be better. We're facing the south, but if we were on a level, then we deal with the mud. I mean, you don't get drainage at all. But that's the thing with the bags. From what I understand, I've never personally done them. I had a brother that done them, and I agree on the quality of feed. But then the downside to it is, of course, you just can't put them just anywhere.
And it'd probably be more plastic and
definitely be more plastic, but
a bit more mouth.
So what you're doing is you're filling like you fill a, it's actually even more of effect than you fill silo, because, well, what do they come in? 8 feet, 9 feet? I don't know, maybe up to 12 or whatever they come to. But what you're doing is every load, when you're feeding here, you just got that 1 or 2 loads of feed in that one spot. Where here, this is like a huge sandwich. We came across and trickled that load all the way from this end all the way to the other. So every load. So what we're doing in this trailer right now, we got maybe 12 or 14 different loads of feed, you know, that are kind of strategically throughout the farm, you know, like a sandwich. So that's the kind of the sweet part. So when when they come, so what's going to happen here once I get in here, so we got enough up there yet until almost Christmas, and then we're going to be feeding our dairy herd out of here. Pretty much everything will be getting fed out of here, besides using our baled hay and stuff too. And then our nutritionist will take a sample, and that sample should be the same all the way until we're putting more in.
I'd be interested to see if she could test that first crop silage.
Separate. Yeah, I'll have them do that.
Especially because that was such a later crop. I'd be
Right.
interested to see how big of a hit we took protein-wise.
Yeah.
If
The
we
one
did.
thing is like I said, it's good. It smells good. It fermented good according to what we see here. It's just protein-wise, it probably isn't all there. But the main thing is if you can get these piles put together without mold, I'm happy with this. I mean, we have to be. You know, what was our other choices to tear our fields apart and still never, I mean, everybody was in the same situation where they said even the baggers weren't, it was juicing so bad it wouldn't push it in anymore. We're here, you know, it could be wetter and it still is going to be able to be put together and not be a problem that way. But there's always a downside to these things and an upside. We've been doing this for almost 35 years. I think when you look at the big scheme of things over all the years, yeah, we got 3 tarps. Again, that's basically like saying 3 different piles put into one. So we had our first crop, well, 2 first crops, so we could have just had 2 different piles instead of sticking it all in one. But and then our corn silage with some of our new seeding, our third crop. So we just reused the tarp, which is, you know, either way, you're gonna, you know, bags you'd have probably had, I don't know. I know there was a large dairy. My nutritionist gets around. She's got a large area. She deals with big, small, every different scenario you can imagine of storing feed. And she said there was a large dairy where they did all bags, and it was at the point where the whole field was bags. And then they finally switched into bunkers, which makes sense. You got, I don't know, I'm gonna guess, you know, hundreds of cows. I don't know exactly what size she was talking, but it was huge for our area. I was asking her, okay, so what did they find out what the difference was in the costs of, you know, the plastics and everything that goes into putting it in a bag versus a bunker or a pile like this? And I was thinking maybe double, if that. She said 4 times. Penciled it out, and it sounds a little off the charts, but, you know, again, I mean, you got to kind of weigh it out for your situation, your amount of how you can preserve your feeds that you aren't using yet. And again, raccoons like those too.
Yeah.
They're kind of hard to maintain that way, but
Yeah, and hail, it'd all be the same.
And that's the other thing here too with hail. We had it one year where I got some help, and we could smell silage, you know, the next morning after the hailstorm, and got some help. We took all the tires off and left the old tarp on. We just put a new one over the top of the whole thing to preserve it, and it kept. It was probably a good move to make. Again, with a bag, it's pretty hard to rebag it and all that. That would probably be a little bit. And then that's the up with a silo. Very concrete structure, less likely anything's going to get the best of that thing.
Yeah.
It's just expensive to get the feed in, get the feed out, all those type of things.
Yeah, and it's a real commitment to infrastructure. Pile like this is pretty versatile compared to a silo.
Yeah, when it's gone, it's in nobody's way, and we can use the pad for other things, or even if you decided you weren't going to put feed here anymore, we could make this back into a field very easily.
Yeah, there you go. There's the first look at the big pile. We're gonna head up to the yard, and what are we gonna dump this on a pile, or you want to try to feed some of this out right away in front of the bull barn?
We're going to feed the heifer barns at this.
Okay.
We're not going to do the cows yet.
Okay.
So what I'll be doing with the milking herd, so when we get to where we got maybe a week left of that, and any good cow people realize this, we start to kind of slowly transition them. Like you said, I would maybe half and half, almost to the point where it's mixed. It don't matter how good the feed is, it seems like just the transition alone, you can end up with some stomach problems and things like that. And I've always done it over the course of a week, maybe, so it's not a big shock to them. And then sometimes I know years where I open this pile, throw it in front of them, they don't eat it up very good. It seems cows are kind of different that way. They get very accustomed to a routine in their feeds and everything. It ain't like baled hay. Well, baled hay, you can switch up baled hay. It's dry, it's long, it's kind of like eating a loaf of bread. It's pretty hard for them to overdo it. With silages, you gotta be a little more careful, especially with grains and some of that type of stuff, but we're gonna be all right. Looks good. There ain't much you can do with this. It's gonna go. You know, it's all milking cow feeds and
All right, a job well done today. We got this barn all cleaned up and fed up. We got that big silage pile opened. If you guys have any questions or any stories or any tips and tricks when it comes to your feed storage on your farm or things you've seen work for other farmers, let us know down below in the comments. We love reading that stuff. Even if we don't respond, we're still reading it. Also, remember, check out GierokFarms.com. That's our very own website where my wife and I pack all the orders. Somebody's having fun back there. Also, remember to like, share, subscribe. It's all free and it helps us out a lot. Share the video with people you think would enjoy it as well. But that is going to be it. We will see you all next time.